So I came up here to the Hill and Appalachia Festival in Lewisburg, West Virginia, and I camped out in this really cool spot. I got to see a whole lot of cool acts over the last 3 days. Last night I got to see the great Tyler Childers. He's always one of the best live shows that you could ever see. Hell of a show. And I got to run into some of my YouTube listeners. I met David and Selena. That was really cool to have people walk up to you and say, hey, you know, I'm a YouTube member and just wanted to say hey. So that was really awesome. My plan was I had my videos set to come out to you guys, so all the videos you've been seeing was of me back home. I set them to come out in advance so that I could just take a couple of days and clear my head and get away from all the craziness of the news. Of course, I did have friends sending me stuff along the way, like, can you believe this is happening? It's one of those things where the minute you go out of town, everything's going to happen. And the one story that I did catch wind of and had to talk to you guys today about was the whole dirty laundry of Mark Robinson coming out. I can't say that I'm at all shocked when anything like this comes out on someone. I can't say I'm shocked. Turns out that he was on a porn site talking about how he loved transgender porn, referred to himself as a black Nazi. Again, I'm not shocked by any of this, but what I do know is that anyone that Donald Trump hangs around is just low-hanging fruit for Kamala Harris to make a brilliant ad, and that's what she did. Take a look.
Been an unbelievable Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
For me, there is no compromise on abortion.
I think you're better than Martin Luther King.
We could pass a bill say you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
Abortion in this country is about killing a child because you aren't responsible enough to keep your skirt down.
I've been with him a lot. I've gotten to know him, and he's outstanding.
Donald Trump and Mark Robinson. They're both wrong for North Carolina.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
So yeah, he really did compare him to Martin Luther King Jr. All you have to do is sing Trump's praises and he will praise you back to the moon. That's how fragile his ego is. And it doesn't matter what kind of person does it. Anyone can praise him. I mean, if Charles Manson came back from the grave and praised him, he would praise him back. That's just how weak the guy truly is. Now, at the time I'm making this video, there's been a lot of people pressuring Mark Robinson to drop out of the race for North Carolina governor because North Carolina is going to be a very critical state in this election. I've heard people say that Harris or Trump can't really get the presidency without it. And so it's a very crucial state. There's a lot of people pressing him to drop out. And of course, he's playing the victim in all this, saying that all that's lies. And let's go ahead and give it to him just for a minute. Let's say that none of those things are lies. How does he explain all of this stuff?
They couldn't vote, or black people were swinging from trees. I would say to him, if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. And if you don't like it that I called it filth, come see me and I'll explain it to you.
I don't want to have to explain to my grandkids why two men are kissing. And I don't care what anybody thinks that. Get mad at me if you want to. Ain't no child got no business seeing no two men kiss. If they did, God would have made it that way. He didn't. Everything that God made serves a purpose. I don't care how ugly it is. Why don't you use some of that building up of your mind and building up of empowerment to move down here to this region down here and get this under control? See, because this region right here, that's the only region on your body that can make life and take life.
See, in my mind, his dirty laundry didn't need to come out. I mean, the things he said into a live microphone are plenty to disqualify him from ever being near a public office. But these are the kind of people that Donald Trump surrounds himself with. And then it's funny, I even heard him talk about the Trump campaign is worried now, thinking that Robinson should drop out. But they would never entertain the idea that Trump himself should have dropped out a long time ago. That's where we're at in this world. He surrounds himself by these people. And all these things come out on him. But like I said, even if nothing came out, just the things they say to suck up to him, just the things they say to get in his good graces, and the things they believe are things that should disqualify them. Folks, whether people like that, Mark Robinson and these hardcore MAGA conservatives, whether they like it or not, society is progressing and society is moving forward. And they're going to kick and scream against it every step of the way. But the things that they're saying and the ideology that they're bringing to the table is a very dangerous ideology. And a Donald Trump presidency with no guardrails would validate people like Mark Robinson. It would give them a place. It would give them a voice. They would feel as though that that they were someone, and they would feel as though they were important. And in some ways, they would be. And that's why we have to keep our eye on the ball more than ever and realize that this is not just about Donald Trump. It's about who comes with him. It's about the kind of people he would bring, because he would bring yes men. He would bring people who would sing his praises, and in return, it wouldn't matter if they was John Wayne Gacy reincarnated, he would praise them back just because they praised him. That's what we're up against. So I personally, everybody out there has dirty laundry. Everybody out there has things that they've said they wish they could take back. So I never really throw stones at people like that for those things. When someone outs, or even when politicians do it, when they oust a bunch of dirty laundry on people, I always kind of just let that roll off of me. But we don't need Mark Robinson's dirty laundry, is my point. We don't need none of his dirty laundry. We don't need none of Trump's to realize that they're not fit for public office in no way, shape, or form. So, yeah, you try to take a few days out of town and all hell will break loose. That's just because the news is constantly breaking. We live in a time now where it's just, man, you talk about buying the ticket and taking the ride, you better, because it's never going to stop. You try to take a day or two off, clear your head. You're going to have plenty to talk about when you come back. You're going to have plenty to sort out. But that's the great thing about this pro-democracy movement. There's so many great voices out there that I figure I can just pick up where I left off. And in the meantime, Adam Mockler and Ben Meiselas, Texas Paul, Coach D, Luke Beasley, guys like that, they've took the ball and ran with it. So I will just pick up where we left off. But if you ever have the opportunity to go to the Hill and Appalachia Festival in Lewisburg, West Virginia, I highly recommend it. It was a great lineup. Every act brought it. Every act delivered. Not every act was my cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. It was really good. I got to see Shooter Jennings again. I saw him. That might have been my 4th or 5th time seeing Shooter. And he played a bunch of Warren Zevon songs, and I really, really did enjoy that. So, yeah, it was a great time up here in Lewisburg, and as I hit the road headed back home, I'm sure people will be sending me stories of crazy things that's happening in the world, and we'll just keep talking about it. But thank you guys so much for supporting what it is that I do. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out our memberships if you want to, and go over to Patreon. I'm going to be having a lot more exclusive content coming over on that platform. So, again, thank you guys, and we'll just keep trying to plow our way through this crazy world.